R-Truth, aka K-Quick, aka Ron the Truth Killings. Sting. The Dudley Boys, aka Team 3D. Christian, aka Christian Cage. More recently, Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, AJ Styles, James Storm for a cup of coffee. We just got Eric Young. We're gonna get Bobby Roode. The point of all this, for a long time we've been joking that there's never going to be a TNA invasion because it's already slowly happening. Ha ha ha. Wouldn't that be hilarious? But what if it happened? What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with something a little bit different. You guys know I'm not exactly Sean's View Entertainment. I don't come up here with breaking news all the time. I do, however, come up here with breaking news that specifically affects me as a fan, or that I find genuinely kind of hilarious and intriguing, which is what I find with this. Basically, the news broke. I got it today. I don't know when it happened, but TNA superstars Ethan Carter III and Drew Galloway, aka Drew McIntyre in WWE, bursted in on an Evolve wrestling show. I've never watched Evolve. I don't know what it's like, but whatever, that's not the point. They attacked Johnny Gargano of NXT fame and then proceeded to cut a promo on pretty much everybody they could. I've watched the video. While they're cutting this promo, it's mostly EC3 on the mic. Various guys, the video's shit. It's all done on like somebody's either handy cam or cell phone, so it's not the greatest. But as they're cutting this promo, more and more people keep coming in and keep trying to get rid of them, and they get owned, which is great. And I figured I would come up, I would say a little bit about what I thought of the promo, and I would give you guys a link to the video, and that would be it, because I couldn't summarize the whole promo. But then I went to, and I'm going to give some credit here, thisisawesomewrestlingshow.com basically made a transcript of some of the highlights of this promo. Basically, they rant on WWE, they rant on old school NXT, they rant on Bill DeMott, Triple H, the wrestling machine is one of the common terms that they use in the promo a lot. But I want to read you guys some excerpts of this because I think it's really quite good. And I'll give you some thoughts on it at the end. As I say, most of this was said by EC3 with Drew McIntyre kind of standing there and just being awesome Drew McIntyre. Now, when I say I like, okay, I'm going to talk later on in this video about how I like EC3 and how I like Drew Galloway. or McIntyre, or whatever you want to call him. I'm not saying this in any way to say that TNA is great and oh my god, look at this great TNA talent. When I was watching TNA, right leading up into when I stopped watching TNA, which was middle of last year sometime, I finally gave up because I'm stubborn. But EC3 is a great fucking heel. I like EC3 on the same level that I like The Miz, and Drew McIntyre is just an underused talent, whether you're talking about TNA, WWE, or otherwise. That's just my opinion, and that's why I like that they put these two together. But the first quote is, Drew McIntyre became a champion on his own. I became a world champion on my own. So the way I look at it, we didn't blow it. You know who kind of blew it? Stamford, Connecticut. Up north, you know, the King of Kings. They blew it, which is true. The one thing I did like, not a lot of people liked EC3 becoming champion, but there was a extensive shoot interview that went around after he became champion. It's him, I think it's right after the show because he's out of breath for the whole promo. With his belt, you know, this is for all the people that said I couldn't do it type thing. Because the Derek Bateman thing in old NXT was fucking horrible, wasn't it? With all the bad puns and all that sort of thing. But basically, you got a direct dig at WWE, NXT, the old way NXT used to go. And, you know, obviously he says King of Kings in quotation marks, and they're the ones that blew it. Then he makes reference to the guys that are trying to stop him from cutting the promo. But basically, it's towards all the, you know, WWE loyalists and whatever, and it could be painted with the same brush, where he says, no, I get it. You guys want to get up there, you want to make the next step, you want to be good little soldiers, but take it from us, what do they do with good little soldiers? They put them on the front line to take the bullet. Basically, it mirrors the idea that a lot of indie fans have. Hey, my favorite guy's in WWE now, but I'm not going to bother getting my hopes up because he's going to lose to John Cena. Anybody, take take a Sami Zayn, take a Neville, take a Daniel Bryan, take an Austin Aries and AJ Styles, and everybody's gonna, before it even gets up off the ground, if any of them are facing John Cena, facing Roman Reigns, facing Randy Orton, facing anybody that doesn't fit into their little niche, they're saying, oh yeah, you know, they're just using them as fodder, which is true sometimes, but not always. I mean, look at how fast AJ Styles made it into the main event scene, and Roman Reigns is also a product of NXT, so people like to ignore that, but it is what it is. And then he goes on to... I lost my place, guys. I am really sorry. He says to everybody that wants to go up to NXT or WWE, or, you know, everybody knows the final goal is to get to the big dance, which is WWE. So his next comment is, you want to take the next step, you want to go to the show everybody loves, and then he starts mocking the fans. Oh, we have great matches, we have compelling characters, storylines, NXT, yay, yay, yay. You know what makes a good star? Surviving. And then he starts knocking on the old NXT. Try to have your character survive after surviving obstacle courses, after getting slimed, after having stupid wheelbarrow races, or 6-minute matches where you can't do any of your cool moves, which is a good point. And then he mocks the redemption point system with the old reality TV way they used to do NXT, which is true. It was kind of shit. Here we stand, true success stories of the independent scene. Independence is not sucking up to the machine. Independence is succeeding despite it, which, again, is just a fantastic dig at WWE, isn't it? See, I'm looking through here, and there's the quotes, and then there's, like, this guy who wrote this article. It's, like, his interpretation of it, so if I pause, it's because I'm trying to distinguish between the two. He grabs his microphone, he says, do you know what this is? This is a microphone. This is how you create box office. This is how you put asses in the seats. Not with flips and false finishes. This man, referring to Drew Galloway, he was the chosen one back then for a reason, and if I can be humble for a second, I've been endorsed by the best and destroyed by the worst. In other words, the people that matter think he's good, and he had to lose to people that were not so great. I'm going to shoot with you real fast. I was endorsed by Hall of Famers and world champions and all that kind of thing, but when it comes to being destroyed, I can only thank one obese psychopath who's better known for being number whatever the number is, because the recording kind of cuts out. But he's basically taking a knock at, you know, the best thing Bill DeMott ever did was be just a number in Goldberg's streak in WCW. And then he looks right into the camera and says, so hey Bill, I guess I won. Which is a fucking fantastic dig, not only at Bill DeMott, but you gotta figure with the controversy surrounding Bill DeMott leaving WWE, he's the last name you would want that WWE would want brought up. So it's fucking great. A couple more people rush the ring. They get them out again. He says, we're not finished. We are the last bastion of independence here. We are two men. We weren't failed football projects, which is fucking great. We weren't models. We weren't bodybuilders pulled out of a gym somewhere. We sure as hell weren't anybody's kids, which is fucking brilliant. We are two men who love this industry. We breathe the industry, and to us, this isn't a game. This is our goddamn lives. Every single person you can possibly imagine the internet community taking a shot at in the WWE. People that are there because their dads are wrestlers. People that are there because they're big. They fit the 6'5", 275 demographic. You know, you're not supermodels. You're not bodybuilders. You're not huge, big guys that Vince McMahon apparently drools over, you know. You didn't want to sit there in the back through the old game show style of NXT. You weren't held down by a Bill DeMott, who a lot of people don't like now. Every single possible thing that's very, very true about the WWE, or was at some point, is in this promo, and it's great. And I wouldn't, and here's where my own personal opinion comes into this guy. These two, representing representing TNA, which is basically an indie fed at this point, invading another indie fed, wouldn't even be a blip on the radar if the guy they attacked wasn't Gargano, who's also in NXT. And if WWE didn't have their cruiserweight open tournament thing that they have coming up, Cruiserweight Classic, I think is what they're calling it, on the WWE Network, and the preliminary matches for those for that tournament, rather, are taking place at Evolve shows, which is a really cool thing for Triple H and the WWE to do, working with this other company. But B, it kind of, in the short term, makes Evolve sort of a WWE territory, at least by association. And for Drew Galloway and Ethan Carter III to step over that line. Now, here's the thing. it could be that they're going to be performing on this indie brand later on in the future. They just want to get some buzz for themselves and buzz for TNA in the process. Or we could, and this is where people are going to think I'm crazy, we could have a legitimate invasion. These two could be the last, litching points for a legitimate TNA invasion. Now, people think I'm crazy. When ECW joined the WCW invasion in way back when we had the Alliance versus WWF, you had guys like Rhino, Tajiri, the Dudleys, I think even Tommy Dreamer at that point. Most of the ECW portion of the Alliance were guys that already existed and had already planted their feet in WWF. So it was very much a revolt from within because ECW had already folded at that point. Now, TNA hasn't officially folded yet, but I think we all know that it pretty much has. So, wouldn't it be awesome if either they can create the idea that they're going to war with WWE, or WWE could get in there with Evolve and create the idea that these upstarts are going to come up and try to fuck with us? Or is it a case of WWE wants to create some controversy? They can't directly arrange for somebody to say the things that these guys said. They can just turn a blind eye because Evolve isn't really a WWE show and let this just collect buzz in our community. It would be really smart. It would be like when WWE plants a fake fan in a crowd so that they can kick up some buzz like they did leading up into Payback. For the perfect example, there were several leaked videos of Finn Balor leaving an NXT show and waving at everybody and saying, "I'll see you on Monday." But if you watch the videos, they are pretty stationary. They look like they were in that perfect spot to catch that perfect fan video. So you could have somebody in somebody else's back pocket saying, "Hey guys, why don't you come over to the Evolve show and say this? We can't be officially involved in it, but it'll kick up some ruckus and some fuss for everybody." Because everybody remembers the one time that TNA legitimately tried to go head-to-head with WWE and failed on their ass. So if there's anything even remotely resembling an uprising against WWE from TNA, people are going to watch, if nothing else, just to get a laugh out of it and talk about how dumb TNA are and whatever. But wouldn't it be cool? Even if it was totally dumb, even if it was a total farce like the invasion was, and you had Eric Young, Bobby Roode, and say an EC3 and a Drew Galloway come in and just storm an episode of NXT, and then they sit in on an episode of SmackDown, and then they fuck up some match at some major pay-per-view. And it could have all happened under the WWE banner. This could be happening under the WWE banner. As much as WWE doesn't acknowledge that TNA exists, how do we know that Dixie Carter and all the other, the Harris brothers and everybody else that's talking about buying TNA aren't doing it as a separate company on behalf of the McMahons? Wouldn't it be a scenario where the Harris brothers are spending a lot of money to boost, if they do end up buying TNA, I don't know, they put a lot of money into TNA, and we find out later on down the line that some of that money came from Titan Towers. This is all speculation on my part. This is all cool shit that I would like to see. This is all shit that I'm pretty sure isn't going to happen. Let me be clear on that. But something like this that's just muddy enough, because Evolve, as I say, Evolve isn't a WWE property, but they are in collusion. They are in creative cooperation with them, obviously, for this Cruiserweight Invitational, all their preliminary matches and all this sort of thing, which I'm looking very, very forward to. So at least to be working with WWE makes them like on the WWE side of things. So you have to imagine that something like this wouldn't have happened without some sort of okay from the WWE. I think this is fucking fantastic, though. As I said in the beginning, in the intro to this video, we've all joked around for a long time about the fact that most of the talent that's washing, I mean, you've got your exceptions, you've got your other influxes from Japan, you've got Gallows, Anderson, Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Asuka, you got the ROH guys like Owens and Zayn and that sort of thing. And I'm not saying that TNA is becoming WWE. I'm really not. But there's a big portion coming over, and we've all said in one way or another, in one video or another, in one Facebook or Twitter comment or another, hey, it looks like TNA is coming over, Vince isn't going to have to bother buying it. We've all made comments like that at some point. Wouldn't it be funny if they are listening more than people think they are, and that's actually happening? If it were to actually happen, this is where I want you guys to comment down below. If they did anything, if TNA were dumb enough to try this on their own, if WWE is arranging something to happen, if there's sort of a creative collusion between the two, and there is any type of invasion whatsoever, no matter how much you think it's going to fail, how would you do it? How would you want it to happen? As the viewer, how do you want to see it happen? As a creator, as a writer in WWE, if you were one, how would you write it? Put it down in the box below, because honestly, this made me laugh, but it also, there's that spark of potential. And as a wrestling fan, that makes me smile a lot. I'm rambling because I didn't really bring any notes other than this thing from theawesomewrestlingshow.com. So I don't have anything else planned, so I'm rambling off the top of my head right now. This is kind of cool. I like it. I've watched the video several times because it makes me smile every time. But that's me. How about you? Put your comments down in the box below. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye.